What's up? Hashtag PBT. Rock and Roll James here with a big man in the wrestling industry right here, Brian Cage.
Well, figuratively and literally, by the way.
Yeah. And, man, dude, you're in Fort Texas. Are you going to buy a home here, man? Man, we love you here in the Rio Grande Valley. You're coming down pretty often now.
You know, it's funny, too, because some people will be like, oh, man, you've been here so much. And a few other people have been like, this is like your second or third time now. I'm like, no, man, I've been here since like 2015. Well, it'd be Brownsville, Harlingen, McAllen. I've been all around here quite a bit, so I'm pretty familiar with the area. So
Are you a Texas boy, man?
I'm not. I'm born and raised in Northern California. I live in SoCal, but Melissa and I have talked about purchasing in Texas many times, and it probably is my favorite state away from my home state. Absolutely. So.
How's the wrestling scene in California anyway, man?
Oh, it's great. It's actually right now. It's really, really great. There's a lot of really good promotions going on. And when I started in Northern California, well, then to that day and age, indies weren't like, they were just indies. They weren't like hot like they are now, you know. But it's funny, like, I feel like it always transitions from, like, you know, north to Midwest to south, and like, you know, or West Coast rather, and back and forth. But like right now, like, you know, you get PCW Ultra's great, you know, PWG, which has been a mainstay. Bar wrestling's probably the most fun independent on the planet, and they run on weekdays and like down the street from my house, which is perfect. And then there's a bunch of them that just like blow up or pop up here and there. I mean, there's a lot of really good top-tier promotions and independents in SoCal. So
yeah, man, it's almost as exciting as when the territories used to be dominant back in the day. You know, I remember, you know, I was born and raised down here, and I grew up with Southwest Championship Wrestling, the Blanchards, and then the Von Erichs and all that local Texas stuff. And then I'd see the magazines, because we didn't have any internet back then, and I'd watch a magazine. I'd see a dude on the cover like Billy Jack Haynes from the Oregon territory, you know? And I'm like, what? There's wrestling in Oregon?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, there's so much all over the place. But and that's how it is now again, like, not in the same regards, but now there's just so many major promotions. But then there's also so many, like, major indie promotions all across the states, and everyone's got a streaming device or this on demand or, you know, iPay-per-view or whatever it is. So there's like all these, you know, little mini stars in all the areas all over the place. So
yeah, man, it's awesome, man. So how's it going with Impact, man? I mean, you're man, having a good time working hard with it?
Oh yeah, man, it's been great. I know when I jumped on board with that ship back at the end of 2017, beginning of 2018, I was a little uncertain too, because I know that was probably right at the end of their like biggest downfall, so we're back on the climbing back up thing. But to be a part of the ship, to turn it around and move it in a different direction has been a blast. I feel like all the pay-per-views have been phenomenal since I've been there, and hopefully tomorrow's pay-per-view, Hard to Kill, is nothing but the same. So,
yeah. All right, and you know, how much time do you spend on the road, man, from home?
A lot. Actually, I had, and I purposely took it like a couple weekends off extra. But I just had about 3 weeks off during from December 15th through now. This weekend I had off, which was awesome. I had one show, but in LA, bar wrestling, and the rest of the time I had off from wrestling and from traveling, which was probably the longest break I've had, especially not being injured like since I've started wrestling. I kind of didn't know what to do with myself when I had to pack to leave this weekend. I was like, wait, how do I do this again? Like, how do I prep my meals, and how do I was like, where's my stuff? I didn't know. I was a little I was a little rusty after a few weeks. But normally, man, I'm usually gone, you know, rough through 3 or 4 or 5 days. You know, I'm on at least, you know, 4 or 5 flights a week. So it gets it's funny when you first start, you can't wait to get your flown out. Then when you start get going, you start making it. That's like the worst part of the job, and you hate traveling, you hate leaving, and like, you know, the actual wrestling aspect is so fun. You love.
Does it become routine?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And it's funny. I even say to people like, I don't know how you eat, you know, healthy and regimented and go to the gym when you're on the road. I'm like, it's funny because I usually spend more of my time on the road. I'm more regimented and I eat cleaner and I'm more disciplined. I feel like when I'm on the road now, because that's more of like what I'm used to. Like even during this break when I was home, I was like, there's like no set schedule there because I'm just like, you know, relaxing. So I feel like I'm actually more likely to lollygag, or, you know, I also go to the gym, but I'll like push it off or I'll eat whatever just because like there's like no urgency and there's no, you know, I don't got to look good half naked come Sunday, or I don't have to, you know, and I'm just laying around like there's no sense of urgency. Like where I'm on the grind and going like, all right, I got to be here at 9, I got to the gym at 11, I got to do this at this time, I got this at this, and like.
And you do this with no assistant?
Yeah, it's all me. It's all me. I'm so meticulous and like kind of a control freak in my own schedule that way too. Like I can't like. I hate when people try to book my own flights or do that. Like, no, I want this flight this time, and I want this at this, and I can go here, so I can work out here, and I can do that. Like, I plan it all out. So I've got a real good, like, it's almost like a mathematical equation. Like, I'll look at something, and I'll see all the different variables, and like, okay, let me just put this all together. Boom. All right, got it done. Like, there's my January. Okay, next month. Like, so.
It's incredible to, you know, have a physique like you, man. It doesn't take any slacking. It takes a lot of discipline, a lot of routine.
I got my 6-pack bag over here. I got a couple bags of meal prep over here, so.
And some sushi back there.
Yeah, you know, so that's it's. I know it's actually a protein donut. I got.
Okay. Hey, so we got a new year, man. New decade. 10 years. I mean, where do you want to be in the middle of the decade? What are your plans?
So the way I look at it, I feel like I got a good 5, hopefully maybe up to 10 more years doing this, especially at my absolute prime and pinnacle of it. It's a good time too in wrestling to be a fan or worker. So I'm hoping within the mid to the end of this decade, I can be known as one of the best. And at worst case, if I can't be one of the best, at least I can be the only Brian Cage. So.
Well, there's a lot of other things with all these federations coming around for you to do besides being in the ring.
Sure, and that's like, I've always had this entrepreneurship of being able to build a big enough brand and namesake to go on and make my like little gym franchise or supplement line and yada yada yada. But yes, in the meanwhile, if I'm taking a break from the ring, like I'd love to be able to partake in whether it be like writing or agenting or managing or whatever the case would be, and maybe jump ship to a different life that I can still be a part of the business, but kind of give back and do something in a different way. So
that's awesome, man. Where can we find you on social media, man?
Brian Cage on Instagram, that's the easy one. You can pick up some swag from Pro Wrestling Tees at ProWrestlingTees.com/Brian Cage. Another easy one, the not so easy one everyone always misses, is Mr. GMSI_B Cage on Twitter. I tried to be fancy with it years ago. I thought it was a cool name. It sucks, I'll be honest with that. But I have a blue check mark, so if I change it, I lose it. I can't. So.
Brian Cage, man, one of a kind right here.
Thank you.
#PVT.
Who better?